Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Jarvis here. You are with me on my IG. What's up, IG? How you feeling? I see the team in the building. You're with me on my FB. What's up, FB? How you guys feeling out there in Facebook world? And you're with me on YouTube, and you're also with me on the Wisdom app. And get this, it is still Jarvis TV, and I'm so excited to be able to be on here with each and every one of you on this beautiful day. Today has been a beautiful day. It is Valentine's Day, and I know that there are plenty of us around the world who are able to experience love in various ways. If you caught last night's live, then we had a great conversation talking about Valentine's Day. Is it real love or is it over exaggerated? And it's, a lot of the conversation fell on it being exaggerated. And the point of that was not allowing ourselves to get caught up in the exaggeration behind the propaganda that pushes us to feel like we have to feel pressure to spin, 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 spin when it comes to Valentine's Day. Now, what I do want to do, and this happens on any live that I have, I usually go back and I'll watch my lives. And if I said something and or if I need to correct something, or if I need to complete something, I'll go back and I'll complete it. And I want to make sure that on this beautiful day that I definitely complete. So I had a great guest last night, Leslie. She was from California, and she asked me a question. And in her question, she asked me what me and my lady were going to do for Valentine's Day. And I was trying to remain objective and answered her question and just reflected back and said, hey, these are things that I've done in the past. Now, in answering the question the way that I answered the question, I want to make sure that I clear it up. Yes, there is a wonderful woman in my life who I absolutely adore, who's absolutely amazing. But we did not spend Valentine's Day together or anything, but I definitely had conversations, phone calls, and things of the sort. And I hope that every single person that's on here has had the opportunity to go ahead and just spend time today. One of the things that I absolutely enjoyed today was that I saw and I felt and I heard, and I know of people who were doing things because they just wanted to be a blessing to somebody else. I spoke to my family members and called them and said, I love you on a day that we consider to be a day of love. This has got to be a day that we literally take the time to just show love to everybody. I called cousins, I called friends, I called, it's just, that's what today is all about. It's a genuine love. Now, tonight's topic is love is, and I want to tell you this. If you want to join the conversation, you can absolutely join the conversation. All you have to do to join in tonight's conversation is go ahead and go to, if you're on Facebook, you'll go ahead and there's a link that I'm dropping into the chat bar now. I'm sorry, I should have already done it. But if you're over on Instagram and Wisdom, that request to join button, just hit that nice little request to join button, and I will let you come up and join in the conversation. And again, tonight's conversation is all about emotions, part 19, and we're talking about love. Hold on, let me see. So it looks good to you. LOVE, love. We're talking about love is. Love is. So basically, that song, What is Love? Baby, don't hurt me. So that's what we're talking about. Love is. Love is. What is love? On a day that the world has set aside for us to be able to express and share love, what is love? Is love the is it the push behind pushing you to spend a bunch of money? No, that's not love. And I will say that over and over and over again. Is love the uh is it the uh is it the gifts that you would buy? That's the action of love. Is love the cards that you'll get? Is it the candy? Is it the dinners? Those are all actions of love. So I believe in trying to identify what love is. What better thing than to go to a source that has been a reliable source to tell us what love is. And that is, and I'm going to utilize this source. It is this thing called the Bible. Yes, the Bible. So I'm going to go tap in on the Bible, and I'm going to look really quick, and I'm going to see what it says that love is. All right. So um, there is a scripture in the Bible. It is in First Corinthians 13th chapter, and it starts at verse 4, but I want to read it from the beginning. And I'm reading it in what's called the New International Version because I really want to break down what love is so that we can have an understanding of love as the action and we can take it forward. So, love is, all right, and this is just me throwing this out here on this day of love. It starts and it says, suppose I speak in the languages of human beings or of angels. If I don't have love, I am only a loud gong or a noisy cymbal. Suppose I have the gift of prophecy. Suppose I can understand all of the secret things of God and know everything about him. And suppose I have enough faith to move mountains. If I don't have love, I am nothing at all. Suppose I give everything I have to the poor people, and suppose I give myself over to a difficult life so I can brag. If I don't have love, I get nothing at all. So I'm going to stop right there. So the author of this is this dude named Paul. Paul is a great guy. He was like very learned. I mean, he knew multiple languages. The dude is like he is like well known. As a matter of fact, it is said that he wrote over like 2/3 of the New Testament. The dude is like making this thing happen. But what he's starting off and he's basically saying is he's saying, suppose I buy you all of these gifts and I spend all this money on you. But if I don't have love, I don't have anything. If I don't love you, I don't have anything. Suppose I have the biggest house on the block and the nicest cars, around, and my bank accounts are stacked to the ceiling. I can have all those things, but if I don't have love, I have nothing. So what's happening right here? It's being identified that love is not in, our articulation of speech. Love is not in having proper vernacular. Love is not in the degrees that we obtain. Love is not in the jobs that we carry. Love is not in how much money is in or is not in our bank accounts. Love is not, it's not in the house that we live in. It's not in the clothes that we wear. Love is literally it's something more. Now, we haven't got to what the more is yet, but we're going to get into what the more is in just a second. But I wanted to take a moment and just sit right there, and rest on what he said in the beginning of everything. And the author, like I said, Paul, he's telling you, he's like, man, I can speak all these languages, but if I don't have love, it don't mean nothing. I can tell you all the secrets of heaven, but if I don't have love, then it doesn't mean anything. I can have the faith to move mountains. And there's so many people out here they say that they walk by faith, not by sight. But if they don't have love, so what? Literally, so what? It doesn't matter what you have going on in your life. If you do not have love, then so what? It's basically what's happening right now, right? So as we go on, it moves into verse 4 and it says this. It says, love is patient. Okay, here now we're starting to get into something. Love is patient. These are the things that love is. Love is kind. It does not want what belongs to others, and it does not brag. It is not proud. It does not dishonor other people. It does not look out for its own interest. It does not easily become angry. It does not keep track of other people's wrongs. Love is not happy with evil, but is full of joy when the truth is spoken. It always protects. It always trusts. It always hopes. It never gives up. Love never fails. So those are the things that it says as far as what love is, right? So now I read that in a version that everybody can understand, that it'll help it make a little bit of sense, because we're asking the questions, all right, or we're not asking the question, we're saying love is, and we're identifying it. So the first part of this discussion, the first thing that I started off with, I let everybody know that love, we could have all these great things, but if we don't have love, then it doesn't matter. I can have a nice desk, but if I don't have love, it don't matter. I can be on live right now, but if I don't have love, it doesn't matter. And then I want to go back in and I want to start breaking these pieces down, but I also want to read it in another version, because sometimes we can read a soft version and be like, oh, that's it. Nah. There's more to this thing, y'all. So I'm gonna jump to this version. There's a version that's called the Amplified version, right? And in the Amplified version, they get a little bit deeper. It's not the old English speak, but it is definitely a little bit deeper. So we're gonna check out the Amplified version and see what this has to say. So let's go ahead, and I just want to start with what love is. Okay, so I already talked about what it's not. And we can do all these great things, but if we don't have love, it doesn't mean anything. So starting in verse 4, it says, love endures with patience and serenity. Love is kind and thoughtful, and it's not jealous or envious. Love does not brag, and it is not proud or arrogant. It is not rude, and it is not self-seeking. It is not provoked, nor overly sensitive, and easily angered. It does not take into account a wrong endured. It does not rejoice at injustice, but rejoices with truth when right and truth prevail. Love bears all things, regardless of what comes, believes all things, looking for the best in each situation, hopes all things, remaining steadfast during difficult times, and endures all things without weakening. And here we go. Love never fails, it never fades nor ends. Now, I want to live right here in that version of what we just read. You see what I said about it getting a little bit deeper and it hitting home a little bit more and it carrying a little bit more weight? If we're going to talk about love, then we got to talk about the components of love that equate to what love actually is. As human beings, we run around and we all have an idea of what love is. I know the past few days I've been talking about the different types of love, right? I've been throwing out there that there's like 8 different types of love. And in talking about those 8 different types of love, there's, and I'm going to run through them really quickly again, so that you know what the types of love are again. But then I'm going to go back and we're going to talk about it and we're going to break it down. So you have the philia love. That's the affectionate love. Philia love is like it's not romantic. It is brotherly love. Philadelphia, city of brotherly love, right? So that's that philia love. It occurs between friends, family members, yada yada. Then you have pragma love. Pragma love is enduring love. Love that you're enduring the process. You're enduring time with somebody. You're enduring getting to know that person. You enjoy going through the tough as well as the good things to get to the next level. You have the storge love, which is your familiar love. That's your family love, mother to their children, father to their children. Like that's that type of love. You have the eros love, which is the romantic love that so many of us are experiencing on a day like today, that we're kind of floating on this high because of whatever's been taking place today, or floating on a low because of whatever has not taken place today. However, our erotic love is going up and down today. There's ludus love. That's what's a playful love. You have mania love. That's that obsessive love when you're so obsessed with it that it almost drives you crazy. You have that philatia love, that self-love, that love that's very important. That's one of the most important. But the most important love is that selfless love, which is called agape love. Okay? That is an other serving, that is an others conscious. It is literally a God kind of love, a love that you love people no matter what. And how does that look? It looks just like everything that I just read. And I'm going to read it back to you again. Love endures with patience and serenity. Love is kind and thoughtful. Love is not jealous or envious. Love does not brag, and it is not proud or arrogant. It is not rude, and it is not self-seeking, and it is not provoked, nor overly sensitive and easily angered. It does not take into account wrongs endured. That's where that enduring love comes from, meaning that you're not counting the wrongs against people. It does not rejoice in injustice, but rejoices with the truth when right and truth prevail. And we have to be open to allow our ears to hear right and truth so that we can celebrate with that. Love bears all things. There's nothing that love won't deal with. Love will endure and bear all things. It'll carry the load for you, y'all, regardless of what comes. Believes all things. Love is a believing action, looking for the best in each and every one of us, in each and every single situation that happens with the people that you say you love. Hopes all things, remaining steadfast during difficult times, and endures all things without weakening. Love never fails. It never fades nor ends. It is infinite. Love lasts forever. Love is like a circle. There's no beginning. There's no end. Love is timeless. Love is, it has so many components to it when you put the action into place. And we're going to talk about this for a second because I want to start breaking it down. Now, I will tell you, that is something that I try my best to live my life by. And that's how I love people unconditionally, but do I hit every single thing perfect all the time? That's the question. Do you hit every single thing perfect all the time on that list of what love is? Do you? No, none of us do. We try to, but there are certain things that just stand out that actually kind of catch us off guard, that hit us a little bit hard, that sting a little bit, that cause us to react instead of responding. that cause us to write narratives that may not necessarily be true, or build these narratives and these stories in our minds that take us to places that we don't necessarily want to go. The lack of knowledge, the lack of understanding, the lack of identifying where we are in our love walk will cause us to walk away from the very things that we need to stay with. It'll cause us to walk away from jobs. It'll cause us to walk away from people. It'll cause us to walk away from things. And yes, you can love those things, right? People are like, well, what about money? They say the love of money is the root of all evil. Yeah, that's right. The love of money over people is the root of all evil. If you desire to have money more than you desire to have those people that you love in your life, then you're going to mistreat one to treat the other better. I identified this in a conversation with a friend the other day, and I said this to them. I said, I believe that I have identified that I care more about change than I do about, like, I'm change hungry and not money hungry. And I was just trying to let them know it doesn't mean that I don't want to get the bag. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that at all, because I want those things to happen, because in order to induce and create more change opportunities, I have to have the money piece down. Like, I need the money to help me make the change. I was just simply stating that in my mind, and in an importance level, I have so much love for people that I care more about the people than I do about the process. I will work the process to get to where we need to be so that we can help impact the people. The thing that makes the process so great to me is that I have all of this love, that I'm compelled by all of this love to go back over here and work this process. I will get the money, I will get the bag, because I'm willing to look past what that dollar can do for me. As a matter of fact, when you talk about the love of money, the crazy thing is that love or money is it's fictional. It's fictional. Let me show you something. Now, I wish that this was $1 bill or $100 bill or even $200 bills, but it really, I gotta make sense. I gotta help it make sense. This is something that we can do with money that you'll never be able to do with love. All right, so you see this piece of paper. Imagine this piece of paper is a credit card. Imagine this piece of paper is a $100 bill. Imagine this piece of paper is $1 million check, right? You see this $1 million check, right? However, if I take this $1 million check, right, and let me make sure that I don't create no, I don't want to create a fire in my house. But let's say I take this $1 million check and I light this $1 million check on fire. Now, I can do this with $1 million check. I can do this with a $100 bill. I can do this with any type of money. You know why I can do this with any type of money? Because it is a form that we have given value to, that we have placed value on. When I was talking last night about not, making sure that we don't get ourselves caught up in the propaganda, all of the gifts that we would buy on a day like today, all of the money that we would spend on a day like today can be burnt and can be taken away just like this. It can go away just like this. And that was why I was so intentional and so intent last night on trying to push people to understand, like, don't get caught up. Don't get caught up on the tangible. Don't get caught up on the propaganda, because at the end of the day, if it all caught on fire, guess what? It's going to be gone, y'all. It's going to be gone. At the end of the day, it's going to be gone. The crazy thing about that is that could never happen with love. I cannot say, man, I have so much love for you, and then take my thing. I have so much love for you. You can't even see it burning. All I did was I took the energy of that paper and I changed the property of the energy of that paper. And that's what happens with money. Money can just change from one thing to one source to the next. That's why you got cryptocurrency. That's why all these things are out there. But when we're talking about love is an action. Love is, yes. When we say I love you, we say I love you. And this is where I want people to understand this. If I say I love you, I'm not necessarily looking for you to say I love you back. I'm looking to see if you receive my love. That's what happens when I say I love you. When I say I love you, I'm saying it because I want you to know that I, Jarvis Charles, loves you. That's why I'm saying it. And too many times people will take love and they'll utilize it as a tool, or they'll say it to somebody because they want to hear it back. It's okay to say, hey, do you love me? And for that person to say, yes, I love you. It's okay to say that if you just want to hear it, but don't say I love you to somebody just looking for it in return. Because when we say it to somebody, that's like if somebody says I miss you, you're saying I miss you because you want them to know that you miss them. That's the purpose of the statement. I miss you. Now, what we have trained our minds to do is it'll trigger like, hey, you know what? I miss you too. So I miss you too. But have you ever had somebody say I love you and you looking at them like, ooh? I mean, I've even been in situations where I've said I love you to my lady and she not respond at all. And you kind of feel some kind of way. You're like, that's happened before, right? We've all felt that before because you don't know how to react. The question is not, do you love me back? The question is, do you receive my love? Because if love is without condition, then that means that I'm not lining up anything to weigh against you. And I want to go back into that list and I want to see like, okay, what are the things that I know that I can tag my love to, that I can strap my love to, that I can move my love to, that are actions that I know that I'm taking. And I'm going to go right back in here and I'm going to say it again. Okay, love endures and is patient, or endures with patience and serenity. Okay, so are you a patient individual with the people that you say you love? Are you patient with them? And do you endure whatever's happening with them with patience and serenity? Are you doing that? That's my question. Like, is that something that you yourself are doing? This is Valentine's Day, and just you're the person that you love, the person that they may have said or done something that rubs you wrong. Are you enduring that with them? Are you taking those things and tossing them in the bag and saying, don't worry about it, I'm just getting rid of it? I just had a great conversation with somebody who is, they are literally enduring what the love, they are expressing their love through enduring a tough and transitional time with the man that they love. And we had a great conversation. And all I could say was like, boy, I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you because what you're exemplifying is you are exemplifying a level of love that a lot of people won't make it to. We get in these relationships, we get into these we get ourselves involved with people, and then we fall out of love or we run away from it because it doesn't line up the way that we want it to line up, or we have a hard time dealing with the tough transitions, or we hear something that we don't want to hear, or we experience something that we don't want to experience, and then all of a sudden the love piece, the true genuine love piece, starts to go out the window because it turns into the what have you done for me lately type of thing. It turns into the this is what you did to me. One of the things that I always tell people, whether I'm doing couples coaching, whether I'm doing team building, is to not keep track of the mistakes. If you say you love them, okay, you understand the mistakes, you understand the things. But if you're logging the mistakes and you're logging if you put them side by side, your mistakes, there's probably, let's say you had 20 mistakes that individual made. I guarantee you there's at least 150 things that you love about them that they did right, that they're doing right, that you're just like, man, this is why I'm here. But what we do is we have a tendency to let, and it's the 80-20 rule, we have a tendency to let the 20% of things that really rub us wrong and piss us off push us out of a relationship with somebody, or push us out of what is called koinonia. It is a Latin word for communication, which means intimate communication. Like it removes us from each other. It separates us from each other. But if you're really practicing love, love endures. I'm gonna go back and read it, right? This is what love is. Love endures with patience and serenity. With patience and serenity. Does your love endure with patience and serenity? Let's go on to the next one. Love is kind and thoughtful. This is one that a lot of us should be able to hit real easy. Is your love kind and is it thoughtful? Well, yeah, my love is kind. And it's not just talking about love to the person that you have that eros type of love towards. It's talking about the love. And all of these pertain to every level of love, you all, especially the agape love. If you can get all of these different things down that we're talking about, and you can start applying them into your life, I promise you, you'll be able to operate in the workspace better. You'll be able to operate in your relationships better. You'll be able to operate in your families better, because now you're gaining an understanding at another level of love, where the actions, you actually have a plan to the actions. All right. That's I'm just letting you know. You actually have a plan to the actions. Love endures with patience and serenity. So basically, love is patient. Love is kind. Okay. So love is kind and thoughtful. This is one, like I said before, which is pretty easy. It's easy to be nice to somebody. It's easy to show thoughtfulness to somebody when they're doing the right things. But can you be thoughtful and kind when they're not doing the right things? Can you be thoughtful and kind if they don't line up with what you have for them? Yes, you can. And you know how I know you can, because if you're a parent, you do it all the time with your children. You endure with your children. You're thoughtful and kind with your children, right? So you know how to operate in unconditional love, right? But when it comes to moving outside of that base that you feel like you have control on, do you continue to share that love? Do you continue to show that love? Do you continue to act in love? So the next thing that it says is that it's not jealous or envious. Love is thoughtful and kind and is not jealous or envious. I understand that there are levels of love, especially in the eros love, where you get protective of that person that you're in love with. You get to a place where you're almost jealous of anybody else who comes in their space, because it's not that you don't trust that person, and we're going to touch on that in just a second. It's that you don't trust the people that are coming into their space, and now they're invading on your territory, and you're like, oh, hold up now, back down, back down. But if we're going to operate and act in love, and there's got to be a level of love in us where we trust the person that we love to be able to handle and care for themselves in a way that we are okay. That they're like, there's I was telling someone that I was talking to earlier, like when I think of love, you know, and in relationships, and I've never been a jealous guy. I just never have. And one of the reasons why is because if I love you, then I trust that you're mine and you're coming back to me. I trust that even if you go hang out and go do whatever, okay, I trust that no matter who it is that's out there, you're coming back to me. Now, if something happens and you do the opposite of what I'm thinking and what I'm believing and what I'm trusting, then it's going to affect you and deal with you more than it'll affect me and deal with me. And eventually you're going to push me away, and I'm not going to be there anymore because you're not going to be able to handle it. That's just how I've always looked at it. I've experienced it that way. I've seen it that way. Does that mean it's the right way? No, it doesn't mean it's the right way, but it's lining up with some of these things that we're reading, because I'm definitely somebody who endures and is patient, endures and is patient and endures with patience and serenity. I definitely know that I'm a person who I'm kind and thoughtful, and I'm not jealous and envious. I'm definitely, I know that I'm a person who doesn't brag and is not proud or arrogant. And so right here, this next one, love does not brag and is not proud or arrogant. It means that you're not a cocky person in the sense of talking down to people because you feel like you're better than them. That's what that whole part is saying. It's okay to have pride in who you are. It's okay to have pride in your family. It's okay to have pride in your boo. It's okay to have pride in all of these different areas in your life. But the pride that comes before destruction is the pride that you set yourself up, and you're like, man, ain't nobody out here. They don't got nothing on me. Oh, that's how you feel? I'll tell you what, I don't even need you. Pride will cause you to do things, and this is pay attention to this. This is tough. This is a good one. This is for somebody. Pride, if you say you love somebody and you're operating in pride will push you to do things like, I'm going to prove a point to you. Pride will push you to do things because because your personal pride has been hurt. So now you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna show you what it's like. You did this, I'm gonna teach you. That's not a good thing to do, because it could work against you. I know people who, like, if you say, hey, I'm a, like, if I've seen them where somebody has said, I'm gonna take a posture, I'm proving something to you, I'm gonna show you, and you try to put them through whatever, like, that person will be like, okay, because it's in their mind, they don't see it the same. So when they see that you're trying to do this, they don't take it as I'm proving a point to you. They take it as, okay, so you really don't love me. I'm just trying to wrap my mind around this. Now, remember, love goes so much further than your relationship. Love goes so much further than you're a man and a woman, a boo thing and a boo thing, whatever you want to call it. It goes so much further than that. We're going so much further than the eros love. We're going into that familia love. We're going into that storge love. We're going into that lotus love. We're going into that Felucia love. We're going into all of the different pieces of love. We're going into all of these, and going into all of these different pieces of love. I want you to understand that what I'm talking about, it goes to all of these things, right? It applies to all of these things. It's not just one, but it's every single, all 8 of those different types of love. So I'm gonna hit it again. Love endures and is patient and it endures with patience and serenity. Love is kind and thoughtful and is not jealous or envious. Love does not brag and is not proud or arrogant. That means that if you're that person who is like you all into yourself and it's all about you and me, that's not love. If you're in a relationship and it's me, that's not love. If you're trying to work with your kids and you're all about me, how can you call that love? As a matter of fact, you can tell when a person is me, and it's about them and their kids, because that's the ones where you see the mom, she looked absolutely amazing. Then you see the kids coming behind and you're like, her? Are those her kids? Because the kids aren't even well kept or well taken care of. You see the same thing when a man and a woman are out together. They say that they're in love. The woman is like absolutely immaculate and beautiful, and she just kind of let her man just kind of do whatever. Now, I do know, and let me say this, I do know some guys who they just don't want their woman dressing them, and that's okay. That's all right. But I do know this as well. I grew up in a house full of women. A woman is not going to let a man walk out the house looking crazy if she loves him. She's going to stop him and be like, okay, you can wear whatever you want, just not that. And you say that until he starts wearing what it is that you know that he should want, or that would look good on him. So let's go on. Let's keep talking about it. It's not rude and it's not self-seeking. So love is not rude and love is not self-seeking. Does that mean that if you love somebody that you won't say something rude unintentionally at some point or another? No, that is not what that means. What that is saying is that you are not that person. Matter of fact, here we go. If you've ever seen, there's a Tyler Perry movie, and I believe it's called I Can Do Bad All By Myself. And in that movie, the woman's husband, she loved this man. Oh my gosh, she loved this man. She was with him from the bottom, started at the bottom, now we here, went with him to the top, and then she's like, I mean, she's going and she's celebrating him. He's getting like all these accolades and these awards, and she's like, this is my boo, this is my man. She goes home and she gets this, she goes and she sees this nice, beautiful new dress in the closet, like, okay. So she puts on this dress and she gets ready for her man to come home, and he comes home and he's like, what are you doing with that dress on? It's not for you. That's the rude I'm talking about. When you love somebody, you are not intentionally rude and dogmatic to them. You don't drag them. You don't talk about them. You don't verbally abuse them. It's not self-seeking. You're not just doing for them so that it benefits you. That is not love. I don't know what to call that. I really don't. I have a few things in my mind that I can call it, but since we're talking about love, I'm just gonna say that is not love. If you identify that as anything other than love, or anything outside of love, yes, that's what it is. Whatever you identify it is, that's what it is. But it's not love. So when it says that love is not rude and love is not self-seeking, that's letting you know that love is selfless. Love is it's the opposite of being kind and thoughtful, right? Rude is the opposite of being kind and thoughtful. Man, this is good. It does not take into account a wrong that is endured. So basically what this is telling you is that love does not keep track or keep an account or keep a catalog of the wrongs that people have done to them. I will tell you this from like hands down, every single one of us deal with this when it comes to love. Does it mean that we don't love the people who we have taken these accounts over? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that we haven't wrapped our minds around the idea that it's okay to let those things go. It's okay to remember, but when we keep an account and we keep a catalog, now what we're doing is we're cataloging all of the wrong things and we're pushing out all of the good things. And remember what I said, it's like the 80-20 rule. You have like 20% of the things that have happened that have been bad. You have 80% of the things that have happened that have been good. And you're allowing these 20% to throw such an amazing shadow over the top of your good that you're losing. Matter of fact, let me show you this. So this is my earbud case, right? Let's let this represent all of the wrong things that somebody would do. Okay, that's what this is representing. This little case represents all of the wrong things that somebody in your life who you love, whether it's your children, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your boo thing, your man, your woman, whoever. This represents what they would do. Okay, y'all see it. Boom. Now let's let this represent all of the good things, right? And not just this as the square, but this as in like all of the pages that are there that are written in. There is, if you look at this, if I'm comparing these, right? If I'm comparing these now, what is bad is definitely outweighed by what is good. And this is what love does. Love recognizes that these are all the good things, these are the bad things. And so I'm not really going to keep account. I will address these bad things, but I'm not necessarily going to keep account of all the bad things. That's what this is, right? And in just a second, I'm going to bring somebody up. I have Felicia K over here. She's going to jump up with me in the conversation. But this is what all this represents. Now, if I take this, right, and I'm going to have to do this a couple times. So if I take this and I put it in front of, so I put the bad in front of the good, and I put it in front of, and I go closer and closer and closer to the camera. Okay, eventually, now what's happened is that on the camera, it actually looks like the bad is bigger than the good, because that's what we focus on. That's what comes up into our view. And I'm going to do it again for those of you on YouTube and Facebook. So as you're focusing on the bad things, that small stuff of bad things, the bigger it gets. Okay, now where are the good things? Where did they go? I don't know, because they're blocked out by all of the bad things that you're focusing on. But when you put them side by side, the bad is nowhere close to being as big or as full as the good things that have happened in your life. And when we look at love, that's what that's talking about. It's talking about not keeping an account. Yes, things will happen and you'll have to endure, have patience and serenity, forgive, move along, but don't count those things against the people that you love. All right. So I'm going to take a pause for the cause on that right there. And I'm going to bring up Felicia K. Felicia K, I'm ready for this conversation, girl. I know we've had a conversation once before, but it's been a while, so I can't wait to get you up in here. Felicia, how are you?
I'm fine. Have been with you before? I don't remember it.
I feel like we've had a conversation before on here, or we jumped into a conversation together, or maybe I listened to you on here before.
Okay, maybe you listened to me. But I could tell that you're doing something because I'm on the I'm on the Wisdom app.
Yeah.
So I know that you got pictures that you're showing. So you must be on like several different media things at the same time, because I'm like, how am I supposed to see this?
Oh yes, I'm actually so I am. Yes, so I am. I'm simulcasting. I am on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, and I'm on YouTube. So if you the easiest one, if you want to, if you want to see it, I would say jump over on YouTube is probably the easiest. Jarvis Henderson TV. And then you can actually watch it live, and you'll see the illustration that I did. But actually, all I did is I took my cell phone case and I took my little tablet, my little notebook that I write all my notes in, and I put those things. And I'm glad you said something, because I showed them on the screen. But my earbud case is, if you ever seen like the iPod, the earpod case.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's small like that, but I have like the Samsung one, so it's people know more about the earpod case. So it's a small case. And then I have like a 5x8 journaling type book where I take a lot of notes and everything. And I put those side by side. And then what I did for the bad things that happen in a relationship is I held the earbud case. And for the good things that happen, I held the journal. But then I also opened the journal and I said the good things also include all of these pages of things that are written in here. So if you're looking at them side by side, then it looks like the good outweigh the bad. And then what I did is I said, however, the problem is what happens with most people is we focus on the bag. And when I said focus on the bag, I took the earbud case and I pushed it all the way to the camera so that it was like pretty much consumed the camera, and you can no longer see the good stuff in the background. And I mentioned that's what happens when we keep track of the wrongs, because we focus on all of the bad things to where it shadows it casts a huge shadow on the good things that we have. But if we took the time to back up and put them side by side, we would find that the good outweighs the bad.
Yeah, because I think it's hard. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I heard you say you think it's hard to do. Go ahead.
I know. I mean, what was I getting ready to say? First of all, I like the topic.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Love you. And I like where you're pulling from and stuff like that. And I like the comparison, because what we do is we tend to, because it's emotional, because something might hurt us. And we're focused on the feeling of the thing. And the longer we hold on to that anger, that resentment, we go to bed with it, we get up with it, it follows us around. It becomes a shadow.
Right.
It becomes a shadow, like following you around the house.
Right.
So when you forgive, yes, you're still going to have that shadow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because forgiveness is a big power.
Yes.
Oh my God, it's such a huge power in living. Because if you can never release, then you're gonna get backed up. And if you get backed up,
mm-hmm.
you're not gonna be working right.
Right.
Okay? You ain't gonna be able to you ain't gonna be able to do what you gotta do.
Right.
To eliminate, right?
Right.
And then it's like you got this pile of shit.
Yep.
You know? It's like and you get up and man, I'm just telling you, forgiveness is such a big power. And forgiveness is one of those things that releases you. It releases you.
Yes.
It doesn't do anything about what the other person has done. First, we need to release you from the train.
Right.
Okay? We got to release you from the spell that's been going on. Or someone did something against you that didn't like or anything like that. They have done that unto themselves.
Right.
It affected you, but they have done that thing unto themselves.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what they don't realize. That the perpetrator does not realize that he has already done it unto himself. This is like The Color Purple. What you already done.
What you done to me is already done to you. Hey, do me a favor, Felicia. Do me a favor. Come right back up because I want to continue on in the conversation. Come right back up. Yeah, so she ran out of time on it. Shout out to my guy, MTC. Congratulations. Just got married a couple of days ago. Absolutely beautiful wedding. Yes, my guy. I'm so proud of you, boy. So proud of you. Congratulations. He just joined in over there on IG. So Felicia, okay, you're back with me, right? Okay, so now where are you tuning in from?
I'm coming in from Anaheim, California.
Okay. Go Seahawks. That's what I'm talking about. Now
I said Anaheim, California.
I know you said Anaheim, California. I'm from the West Coast.
Go Seahawks?
Because I'm from the West Coast and I'm rocking my Seahawks jacket right now, my team jacket.
I don't even understand why you're confusing the issue. Don't you understand that the Rams?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm so glad that to everybody who's out here, I just want you to know that Russell Wilson was at the game, the Super Bowl, and the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. You know, I know that you all saw the Rams win the Super Bowl, but I was playing Madden at the time. I was playing Madden, and Madden, the Seahawks won. But I was happy to see that Russell Wilson was sitting next to the commissioner in the box at the Super Bowl. Okay, shout out to the Los Angeles Rams. Congratulations to them.
Yeah. But, that's love. That's what. Thank you for that love.
You know I'm gonna send love that way.
I've been in this love. You know what? I have been happily married for like 35 years.
Congratulations.
35. And you know that was a growth. That's a growth process. That whole process is growth.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is that, you know, when you don't have anything between you and your love interest, your friend, that person you're clicking with, that person that y'all working towards a common goal, raising kids. If you don't have nothing between you guys, but you, this stuff gonna happen all day long.
Yeah.
But for me, I said, God, I realized real early, about the third year in, I'm like, Lord, if you don't stand between me and him, okay? I said, this not gonna work out very well. This we gonna hurt one another with all of our trauma. We're gonna hurt one another with all these fads that we are bringing into the relationship.
Yeah, that's good.
You know,
yeah,
with all that stuff that we learned from our parents, learned from our environment that we were previously exposed to, we're gonna bring that in, and we're gonna be like, for the woman, sometimes, I'm just saying sometimes, I'm gonna tell you how I felt. I'm like, he gonna save me.
Right.
But he gonna save me from myself. He gonna save me from my past, you know. So yeah, things were a little out of balance at first because I realized that, you know what, I gotta be the one that saves my own soul.
Yeah.
You know, I can't put that that baggage on him. I can't be treating him like I saw from a flashback of how maybe father treated mom or whatever, or live with a mother who was hurt and therefore she was embittered. Therefore, you picked up on those energies as well.
Yeah.
And in order to protect yourself, you got to have the last damn word.
Yeah.
You got to have the last fucking word. You know, you just got to have the last word. I've done that too. And the thing is that it doesn't work. Somebody's got to back down. Somebody's got to say, you know what, there's something between us that's greater than the both of us.
Right.
And to me, that is that real love that we were talking about. You know, I called him Jesus then.
Yeah.
You know, and then he was like, you know, I'm all about the love. I'm all about the forgiveness. Don't be going to bed angry. You know, if the bed get hard, roll over.
Yeah.
You know, don't get out.
That's good. That is so good.
I had to learn. I had to learn how to be myself. I had to learn how to be married. I had to learn how to be a mother. I had to learn, you know, all of this is full of, some of these are hard knocks.
Yeah.
See, and we make it harder when we resist change. We make it harder on ourselves. And sometimes we'll leave the table. I'm going to say as a metaphor, we'll leave the table and it's got everything on it that you asked for. You called this up. You said, I want somebody to walk through this life with. I want to have a partner. I want to have a husband. I want to, you know, he wants to have the wife and stuff like that. And because she ain't got it all together, when you meet her, I mean, you're compatible. But because we're not all mature, we leave the table before that, for that major dish is served. You know, we'll leave the table. We'll leave the table. We'll leave the marriage. We'll leave the union.
Hey, Felicia, you got to come back up. You ran out of time. I need you to come back up because you was going somewhere strong with it. I'm glad that you came back up. And everybody, this is Felicia K. She's over on the Wisdom app right now. And we are talking about love is, and she is dropping some jewels. Been married for 35 years, and she is giving us the info. So go ahead. You can keep on. You were saying that people will leave the table before the meal is even served.
We leave the table. We like all bets are off. You know, because you didn't knock over my milk. You didn't knock the bowl off the table. Oh my God, we have to mature.
Yeah.
We have to mature, and we have to get to know, out of all the people in the marriage, the person that you need to most know is yourself. You know, the person that you need to most know, forget it. Forget marriage. How about all your relationships? The person that you need to most know is yourself. That's the only person that you have some semblance of control over.
Yeah.
And like I told the girl in the elevator today, she goes, what's your secret to 35 years of marriage? I'm like, don't be trying to change nobody. Okay? I don't grow men. They have to be men on their own terms. I don't grow people.
That's good.
You know, that's not my job.
Yeah,
I grow myself. He grows himself. He's my friend. I love him. I respect him like a friend.
Yeah.
But we do for ourselves what we need to do for ourselves. You know, I ain't got to have him go out and exercise with me. It's 35 years of marriage, so there was a pretty good long period of time where I'm like, well, if you just exercise with me, then I can get this 5 pounds off, right?
Right, all right.
He was like, Felicia, I'm not stopping you from going walking, but if you just come with me, you know, let's come on, girl, get real. Get real. You know?
Yeah, and you're getting a lot of reactions over here off of Instagram. They showing you love.
Yeah. I'm just telling you. You got that. There's that faith, there's that foolishness, and then there's that presumption. And Frederick Price used to say that. I was like, what the heck? I was 19 when I was listening to him.
Yeah.
He says there's faith, there's foolishness, and there's presumption. You know? And the thing is that if you're going to be in this relationship, understand that you're getting to know yourself. You're getting to know a different side of yourself. And you know what? You just got to be comfortable with going into unknown. Marriage is unknown. It's really largely unknown.
Yes.
You know? And it's whatever it is that you guys build. And there's going to be some hard times, and there's going to be some good times. And but most of it is just riding the waves of life, up and down with each other. He got a partner, I got a partner. You know, sometimes I'm the 80 and he's the 20. Sometimes I'm the 20, he's the 80. We had to decide in our marriage and after having 4 kids and deciding to go from all to college, we got to figure out who's the disciplinarian.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and my mama said, who's ever good at it? So if I was good.
Hey, I'm telling you, getting love over here. So you got, let me see.
Good.
You have, you have Prep Body. She says, preach, sis. You have Numosa. And I don't want to mispronounce her name, but she gave you the hands up. You said you had hearts flying over here.
Thank you.
Listen, you dropping gems.
This is a journey.
Yes.
And then if it's a journey, you got to choose your partner. You can't be pulling in somebody with no win. You know what I'm saying? You can't be saying like, oh, there's an option. There's an out. See, for me, no one in my entire family on either side has ever had a successful marriage.
Okay.
But there was no reason why I could not.
Right.
Okay? But I had to learn the things that would do that. I was like, I'm in the school of marriage. I'm in the marriage of school. I was learning. I was growing. I was reading everything I could get my hands on it. I'm like, what's the mission? I don't know what that is. I wouldn't know what that was if it, ran me over. What's the mission? You mean I gotta be vulnerable? Shoot, ain't nobody gonna take my shit.
That sounds like so many.
So you got one foot in, you got one foot out. It's like, hey, you push me either way. I'm either in or I'm out.
Yeah.
You gotta maybe decide. You have to decide from the beginning that whatever goes on, you're hoping and you're praying that we can find a way to let our minds meet, let our hearts stay together. And so I just, it's work.
Yeah.
And it's not for the weak.
Right.
It's just not. And
right.
So with that, love is eternal. Love is what you make it. Love is unconditional. I'm gone.
Come back up and you can, I'll give you one more minute. Come back up and finish that off. Cause that was you, there we go. See, now listen, everybody, for me to keep bringing people up, they're adding great value, and she is adding great value. Like I said, 35 years of marriage, giving us the real deal. Go ahead. You said love is eternal.
I just say it's eternal. And the thing is that each person in a marriage has got to go on their own separate journey through the wilderness, through the unpacking. They got to unpack their own garbage. They got to process out their own childhood, their own teenagehood, their own college. They got to process out their own life for themselves in the relationship. Now, if they got some advice to give me, I got to be open to advice. Because I didn't want my husband telling me how to spend my money, right?
Right.
Right. Hey, look, Felicia, can you not, keep using the credit cards like this? You run up these bills and bouncing checks. And my response was, I got my own job. You can't tell me nothing. I mean, really, I was in the foolishness. So was facing foolishness, and I presumed a lot.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I had to learn balance, and I had to learn love. And I just say that my husband's most finest quality, and it's the reason why I married him in the first place, is that he was just kind. He was just nice to me.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that. I was in love and da-da-da. I said my husband was nice to me. I'm like, this is a good friend to have. He's so nice. And what does that say about me? That means that every relationship that I had prior to him, the person was not nice, wasn't even nice. Okay. He was kind. And look, and after 35 years, I know he was patient. So I'm just saying, we got work that we got to do on our own. And if you have a relationship if you're in a relationship that allows you to be the time to get yourself together, the time to grow, the time to learn, if you're in a relationship that allows you that space as an individual to grow and to work on yourself, you're in a good place.
Yeah.
He don't need you to fill none of his holes, and you don't need him to fill none of your holes. And we hate both of us. We were like, I hear it when people call that, oh, this is my better half. I was like, man, I can just, be gone with that stuff. I said, I am a whole person over here in and of myself. He's a whole person.
Yes.
And my better half, we are two whole people coming together for a whole life and a whole journey. And we are hashing out our differences. We're seeing how things can match up. We're giving it patience. We're giving it time. We walk away when we need to walk away. And we shut up when we need to shut up.
And let me ask you this. This is all, and I heard you say it earlier. I heard you say this earlier, but I want to bring it back up so that everybody understands. We talked about 35 years of marriage, but you're saying these are things that you can start now in your relationships.
Sure, yeah, because your relationship primarily is with yourself. The better you are, the better you'll be in a relationship where you're getting to know somebody else. I mean, relationships, these techniques work for in a relationship. You're always in a relationship, and you're always in a relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
You ought to care about the relationship that you're in with yourself. If you're beating yourself up and not giving yourself no mercy and not giving yourself no grace and not being humble, not being kind to yourself, not being, what's that word? Compassionate.
Yes. Exactly.
And the way I explain that when I'm talking to kids and when I'm talking to anybody, I'm saying, if you saw yourself stumbling down the street and you was just stumbling and you was just, you were just like hurting, you saw yourself bent over, wouldn't you go over and help yourself?
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you go over and help yourself?
Absolutely.
So we gotta be able to help ourselves.
Yeah.
And not just be like looking to, like do this for me, do this for me, do this for me, do this. No. Absolutely not.
Well, I got you for like 30 more seconds, and this time, so I am on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Okay. If you would like to tell people how to connect with you and follow you, please go ahead and do so. My platform is your platform. Thank you for adding so much value. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to chime in because I was like all about emotion, love you. I'm like, because love is buying your own flowers.
Hey, let's go. I appreciate you so much. Everybody, that was Miss Felicia K. She jumped in and added some great gems, some great jewels. I hope that you guys were taking notes. I see that some of the people over on IG definitely chimed in. On Facebook, YouTube, I know that you're there. And I really hope that this is beneficial to you. And I'm going to jump back in because with everything that she said, she mentioned that in her 35 years of marriage, she knows that her husband endured and was patient and, with patience and serenity. She mentioned that he was kind and thoughtful and that he wasn't this jealous person. She mentioned all of the things that we had already talked about leading up to where we are now. And she also mentioned that it's important that we take the mirror and we shine the mirror in our face. That's something that I have been doing a lot of lately, where I'm looking at the mirror and I'm looking at myself because I am a person with such a big heart, and I love, I love, and there are things in my past that have hurt me, that have caused me to start putting up walls. And I don't even want to call them walls. I want to call them tinted windows right now because I see what I want on the other side of the tinted window, but I'll stand on this side of the tinted window and I'll keep my hands against the window and I'll look at it and I'll feel like I have it, but I don't necessarily have it. And I'm pushing myself to run through that tinted window, break it, dispose of it, eradicate it, get rid of it, because the things of my past should not be the things. And remember, we talked about this the other day when we were talking about overcoming fear. I should not allow the things that are in my memory banks in my mind to come back that were perceived wrong and were bad experiences to stop me from moving forward in life. And one thing about me is if I'm wrong, I will own that I'm wrong. And I'm okay with hearing that I'm wrong. Even if it doesn't feel good, I'm okay with hearing it. And I think that as we look at this piece of love, the next thing that we're going to get into is that that love, it does not rejoice in injustice, but rejoices with truth when right and truth prevail. Now, that means that it starts off talking about love being patient. It talks about love being kind, being thoughtful, not holding holding your wrongs against you. and then it gets into the truth piece. Well, I think that the author put that in there intentionally because before we get to the truth piece, there's going to be some things that are going to be endured, and there's going to be some things where patience is going to have to be practiced, and there's going to be some things where you're going to have to not count the wrongs against, because you're going to get to the truth. And when we celebrate the truth, then it's like, hey, this is what it is. And I had a great conversation, like I said, with someone earlier who is experiencing all of this, and they are celebrating truth. And and I can tell you, like I said, none of us hit these things perfect. Even Felicia mentioned that, like in her 35 years of marriage, she didn't hit it perfect. She said sometimes she was a 20, her husband was the 80. Sometimes she was the 80, her husband was the 20, but they figured it out. They worked it through. And I know that there are a lot of us that are out here that, you may be listening to me and you may hear it and say, oh, okay, well, what about this? And okay, what about that? If you go and you find this and you read through this, I guarantee you, especially if you're reading in the Amplified version, you will find how each and every one of these actions of love, they pertain to you in your life. The next one is probably one of my favorites of all. It says, love bears all things regardless of what comes, believes all things, looking for what is best in each and every single situation. And that's where I rest at. I will bear all things regardless of what comes. I will rest and I will believe in the best of every situation. Does that mean that I'm naive? Does it mean that I'm oblivious? No, it does not. Does it mean that you're naive? Does it mean that you're oblivious? No, it does not. It means that you have a greater level of understanding to say, hey, I love you past this. One of the things that I really I found that I hinged my love on, especially when I was married, is it was I found a scripture that said that, and I love that she brought up Dr. Frederick Price. Bless his soul. He rests in heaven, making it happen in heaven right now. But when I was married, I came across a scripture, and it talks about how Christ loved husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. Now, most people will read that and they'll hear that and they'll say, well, what does that mean? Well, when you think of the church is not the four walls. It's people. That's what the church is. And Christ loving the church, like the church is every single one of us walking around out here, whether we believe or not. And Christ's love is like, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, no matter where you've been, no matter what's happened, it's still, I love you. Unconditional. Remember, said agape love, unconditional. And when I got that in my mind, I was like, okay, no matter what happens, it is my responsibility to continue to love. And as I come across this and I figure out, okay, love is the excellence of love. Love bears all things regardless of what comes, believes all things, looking for the best in each and every situation, hopes all things, remaining steadfast during difficult times. It doesn't tell me that just because I'm in love that I won't experience difficult times. And Felicia even mentioned it. She said in her love, they experienced difficult times, but her and her husband, they remain steadfast during the difficult times. And if you're in dating situations right now, I encourage you to endure the difficult times. Every relationship is going to have difficult times, but just because you run into difficult times, it doesn't mean that it's time to throw your hands in the air and run for the hills. And there's a lot of times where people will do that and they'll be premature in that. But I encourage you to start to surround yourself with the right people. Start to wrap yourself with the right people. Start to listen to the right people. I'm not telling you, like, if you're sitting up and you're watching like The T, that's not going to give you the best relationship advice. If you're sitting up and you're looking at, gossip stuff on Instagram, gossip stuff on Facebook, gossip stuff on like, there's different groups and you can look in there and you can see all these things that these people are saying, but is that really the advice that you want to follow? Your friends can come to you and you can think one thing and then they can be like, oh, well, what about this? And now you're thinking something totally different because you're allowing them to now write the narrative, to paint the picture of what love should look like. The thing that I admire about everything that Felicia had to say is she mentioned the imperfections as well as the perfections. But the big thing was, she said you have to be in a relationship with yourself and love yourself, because it'll help you to be in a relationship with the person that you want to be in a relationship with and love them the way that we should be loving each other. And that's big. And I like how it goes on and it brings in endures again. So we start off love endures with patience and serenity, and we finish off with love endures all things without weakening. We are human beings. And so there are going to be moments where we're going to feel a little weak. There are going to be moments where we're going to feel like we need to run. But just like Felicia said, take those moments and just walk away for a moment. Take a deep breath, walk away. It doesn't mean, and I hate when I see this. These are not signs of love. When people who say they love each other, they throw things out intentionally. They say things intentionally, do things intentionally that they know will hurt or prick the heart of the person that they love. That is not that if you do that, please stop doing that. You should never punish the people that you love with words that would hurt them, actions that would hurt them. Um, you know, even like even to the extent, because we live in a social media driven world now, to embarrassing them, like dragging them on social media, like those things are not signs of love, because you'll do that and you'll still want that person to come back to you. I see things sometimes and I just don't react. Like I have a post that's out there and a guy posted something on there and I read what he posted, but once I put it out there, it's in the it's in the court of public opinion. So he's free to say whatever he has to say, but it's not for me to go back and try to debate with him and argue with him over the ignorance that he put on my post. I can go and take it down, but it hasn't become a nuisance. I'm actually kind of curious how others are going to respond to him. And that's one of those things. I'm learning that there are certain things, yes, I do need to go and I need to pull down, because it starts to affect the people that are close to me, the people that I love, the people who love me. But then there are other things that I leave it up because I'm curious. Okay, how do we handle this? It's not for me to go and respond and reply to every single thing that's up there. And so I say that to say this, because people can get really messy out here in these streets, and they feel like that's the way to get known and get all the likes. And stop that nonsense. None of that is love. If you love that person, love them. Love them by being patient. Love them by enduring with patience and serenity. Love them by being kind and thoughtful and not getting jealous and envious, and not putting yourself above them. Love them by not being rude to them, but instead listening to them, and not being self-seeking, but seeking to be there for them and do for them. Love them by not being easily provoked to anger. Like when you feel yourself get angry or you feel yourself getting hyped up, it's okay to say, hey, I just need to take a moment and take a couple deep breaths and bring it back and then have a conversation. Because I guarantee you, the person that you love, when you're having these things happen, they're looking and they may tell you, hey, babe, you tripping right now. And it's okay. I've had to say that from time to time. Or no, that's not true. I don't agree with that. That's okay. I've had to say that from time to time. And you're going to have to say it too. It's okay. Those are things that are okay, but you got to reel it back in. You got to bring yourself back in, right? You got to know, and you have to operate and know that your love is going to like really bear all things regardless of what comes, and believe all things, looking for the best in each situation, that silver lining type of thought, hoping for all things, remaining steadfast through the difficult times. And that can be anything that you experience together, anything that one or the other experience, and endure all things without weakening. Like, hey, you're strong enough for it. Your heart is big enough. And this is my very, very, very favorite and most of all, the best part of it. Love never fails. It never fails. If you can put love into action, it will not fail. Even when it feels like it's tough, even when it feels like it's hard, even when it feels like things get weird, even when it feels like you're having a hard time communicating, even when it feels like you don't know what page your spouse, your partner, your boo thing is on, it's going to prevail. Love will always prevail. Okay? So that's what I got for you tonight, man, on this beautiful Valentine's night. And I want to say thank you so much to Felicia K over here on the Wisdom app for adding in those gems and adding in those jewels. Nuggets, y'all. Nuggets. This has been a great episode. And to every single person that's out here on this day of love, just know that you are loved. You matter. You're destined for greatness. This is your boy Jarvis, and I'm out of here, and I will be back tomorrow evening. Holla at your boy. Peace.